In the Traders Nation, it's my pleasure to have back with us once again Byron King. Byron, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing just great. It's good to be with you.
Good. By the way, Byron is analyst and editor of Outstanding Investments. We'll give you that website information shortly. And now, Byron, what's going on? The Senate panel probes whether speculators are manipulating prices. Are you kidding me?
Gee, do you think so?
These financial markets back to the physical commodities. We don't need to trade a barrel of oil or a methane molecule 30 times between wellhead and burner tip.
Driving the price continually higher.
And we were actually talking before we got on camera. I asked you how high is oil going to go, and you said really high, 280, 260, whatever. Why is that?
Part of the arguments that I have with fundamentalists is that they always want to come up with a number, and analysts have a difficult time coming up with a number because it's difficult to value oil. When you value a stock, for example, you have a number of metrics that you can use, PE, growth, you have all sorts of things. With commodities, the only metric you have is if you take a number of buyers, a number of sellers, you sort of mish them together in the middle, and they sort of decide together what the price is. Now,
financial markets back to the physical commodities. We don't need to trade a barrel of oil or a methane molecule 30 times between wellhead and burner tip.
Limits on all U.S. oil traded product?
Absolutely not. We have them on some, but large portions not, because in 2000, this Congress said you can trade outside of regulated exchanges. And because of that Enron loophole, which I believe has not been closed for crude oil, there are no speculation limits in these markets that are unregulated. There's
markets. Without comprehensive reporting, there will always be room for mischief that is out of the sight of the regulator. Registration and reporting should trigger scrutiny to ensure the good character, integrity, and competence of traders. Failure to comply with these regulations should result in mandatory jail terms. Fines are not enough to dissuade abuse in these commodity markets because there is just so much money to be made that people will keep trying and trying. You have to throw the bad guys in jail. That's the only way you'll get the attention of all the people who know they can make a fortune by manipulating these markets.
Senator Klobuchar said, we passed the Enron loophole. I hope it's enforced. The Enron loophole, because it was written by the Intercontinental Exchange, handed to the CFTC, and then handed to Congress, does not deal with crude oil. By its language, it appears to deal with crude oil, but the CFTC has announced it will not use that to bring unregulated crude oil markets under United States regulatory control. Why is that?
Senator, if we could just blame the current speculative bubble on the blind ignorance, indifference, and ineptitude of the regulatory agencies. Just fire the commissioners and clean the problem up. The recent proposals that have been put on the table are baby steps that will not solve the problem. There are more fundamental problems that must be addressed.
Term plan.
I would be dishonest if I said we've got a lot of short-term answers to bringing down gas prices. I don't think we do.
Find ways to tie these financial markets back to the physical commodities. We don't need to trade a barrel of oil or a methane molecule 30 times between wellhead and burner tip.
We got to change it. We got to figure out how we're going to get the cost down. And there's a couple things we can do. We should be investigating. You see, I think there's a lot of market manipulation going on. I think that there has been too many unexplained price spikes. And go from where we were to where we are today, even with all the other things that have happened, it doesn't really add up.
Yeah, we live in a country where it's supposed to be full disclosure. When you go to the store, you buy something, what do you get?
Ways to tie these financial markets back to the physical commodities. We don't need to trade a barrel of oil or a methane molecule 30 times between wellhead and burner tip. That's
have been voted on this House over the last 14 years. Drilling in ANWR, 91% of Republicans supported it, 86% of Democrats opposed it. Coal to liquids, 97% of Republicans support it, 78% of Democrats oppose it. Oil shale exploration, 90% Republican support, 86% Democrat opposition. Drilling on the Outer Continental Shelf, 81% of Republicans support it, 83% of Democrats oppose it. Increased refinery capacity. Republicans support that by 97%. Democrats oppose it by 96%. Madam Speaker, I ask
to tie these financial markets back to the physical commodities. We don't need to trade a barrel of oil or a methane molecule 30 times between wellhead and burner tip. That's